What is up, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to a updated Orcust deck profile. Welcome back to a new deck profile for the Orcust deck. An update of, obviously, the biggest change that happened to this deck is we lost Bardiche, which was probably our best monster in the extra deck, per se, at least for going first. Fantastic card, allows us to utilize the Phantom Knight engine, but Konami decided to taketh away. But it's not too big of a deal because this deck kind of, has to take on a new playstyle, which is always refreshing to have to play your deck in a different style. So really excited to show you guys the new profile I have. If you guys like it, it may or may not be used to what, similar to what other people are playing. I have no idea. I haven't really looked at too many other Orcust builds. This is just sort of my take on it, I guess. Real quick shout out though to Imperium Duelist if you guys are interested in picking up these dice here, metal dice with these black inlays, or this playmat here that I'm using, the Thunderstorm playmat. Or if you want to pick up any of their sleeves like I'm using here, these are actually the older formula. I haven't sleeved this deck up with the new sleeves yet, because I've sleeved up a bunch of other decks with them already, but they have a brand new formula and they come in this really nice packaging with this really cool artwork on the front. I was actually surprised to see that they had new packaging. It looks very nice. It's this nice plastic box that you can put the sleeves in, and even the sleeves you don't use, you can put them in here when you're done. So new sleeves from Imperium. They're having a buy two get one on these as well, and you can also use that code down in the description below to save 10% off on your entire order. So let's go ahead and get into the profile, and to start we'll go with the monsters and Orcust monsters, to be more specific. 3 Harp Horror. The Orcust engine, or the Orcust lineup, I really changed just very slightly. Still 3 Harp Horror, the same as before. 2 copies of Orcust Nightmare. You definitely don't want to play 3, but I think 2 is a good number. If you open one of these, you still want to be able to summon one off of your mermaid, because we still go for the mermaid play. It's still a really solid way to start off of your turn. Not 1 symbol skeleton, but 2 symbol skeleton. Since we're relying a bit more on like Bomber Dragon and symbol skeleton plays, I think having more than just 1 is a bit more useful. So I think playing 1 is fine. Also playing 1 copy of Brass Bombard, because sometimes this can help start combos as well. Also can make some synchro plays with it too. And then 1 World Legacy World Wand. I was playing this at 2, but I decided to drop it for something else. And just decided to go with the 1 of. So that's it for the Orcust / World Legacy monster. I guess the Orcust package, you would call it. Onto the dangers now. 2 copies of Danger Jackalope, because of course we can only play 2 copies. And then we also have 2 copies of Danger Mothman. Ideally this would be Snack, but I don't have them. And then 2 copies of Chupacabra. Ideally these would be Nessie, but I also do not have them. So you can play your danger lineup however you want to. I still think it's a good idea to play dangers in this deck, because they do help generate a lot of advantage for pretty much free. And then on to some other cards here. 2 copies of Scrap Recycler. I think playing a good sort of Foolish Burial-esque normal summon is a really good idea in here to play again, just because we lose the Phantom Knight engine, so we do have some room. And it isn't necessarily all about just turboing out 2 monsters anymore. Yes, the mermaid play does help, but it's not 100% needed. You could play Mathematician. I realize this card's like $10 or something, I believe, because it's just never been reprinted. So you could play Mathematician, because you can still send your Harp Horror off that. So feel free to play that if you want. I'm also playing 1 copy of Armageddon Knight. I was thinking about playing a Dark Grepher as well, but I think Armageddon Knight's just a bit better. So yeah, so play 2 Scrap Recycler, 1 Armageddon Knight, 1 Candina, and 1 Corobane, because I think the Trickstar engine is still pretty good. I was only ever playing 1 Light Stage in a previous build, so now that Light Stage is at 1, doesn't really make too big of a difference, I guess. So I still like that package, because it is very good. And like Light Stage is so good against back row decks that like I just didn't want to cut it. Then moving on to the spells, we have 3 Instant Fusion. Now the reason I'm playing 3 Instant Fusion is because we have access to Dingirsu now, which we've had for quite some time, but Dingirsu prevents from destruction, and Instant Fusion destroys the monster you summon with it. So you have access to do some plays with Winda now, where I've had boards where I end with like Dingirsu, Galatea, and Winda, and the Winda survives the next 1 to 2 turns, and with a set climax as well. So you have protection from destruction, you have the ability to negate any effect, and also the ability to summon out any of your Orcust monsters from grave, because you also have a field spell. So like, I think this is a nice little play to have, because Dingirsu can keep your Winda on board for 1 to 2 turns sometimes, which can be enough against most decks, especially if you already have a set climax. So it is a pretty nice win condition if you ask me. 3 called by the grave. It's important that our plays go through, so definitely want to play the called by. Then we have 3 copies of Sky Striker Mobilize Engaged. Finally came in the mail the other day. I think playing the Sky Striker package is really well in here because, or works really well in here because one of our main plays now is sort of going back to Topological Bomber Dragon, which leaves us with no monsters in our main monster zone, and if there are any monsters in our main monster zone, they're only there for a split second before they get destroyed, which allows us to take, full use of, some of these Sky Striker cards, and those cards include Widow Anchor, Eagle Booster, and Hornet Drones. This is mainly for combo, but any other engages you resolve or any other Sky Striker cards you add, you basically end Bomber Dragon with an Eagle Booster to make it unaffected by card effects, or an extra negate on top of that through your Widow Anchor. So this just sort of makes your board a little bit more durable, in my opinion. So that's why I like playing the 6 Sky Striker spells. Then moving on, we have 1 Light Stage, 1 Babble, and 1 copy of Terraforming. I was thinking about bumping up to like 2 or even 3 Babble, just because now, like, seeing your field spell means you can search your counter trap, and I just kind of like the idea of always being able to search the counter trap and just, increasing my odds of opening the Babble, but I couldn't bring myself to do it just yet. I might test that in a future build, and just play more Babble and just focus on hard drawing the card as opposed to like having to decide one or the other. Like, do I get my field spell, or if I didn't open my field spell, I have to get my field spell, or I drew the counter trap, now I can get the field spell and have both the counter trap and the field spell and have best of both worlds. So I want to kind of at some point maybe try increasing the odds of having the best of both worlds, and see what a build like that would play like. So, but for now I'm just sticking with the ones, 1 field spell and the 1 Babble, 1 Light Stage, 1 Terraforming. Then next we have 1 Return because drawing cards is cool. Foolish Burial for play starters, and Allure of Darkness because again drawing cards is also cool. Get that consistency up a bit. And then 2 Orcust Crescendo. So this sort of plays into that idea that I was just talking about with, again, increasing the odds of seeing this card first, so you can search your field spell and have both of these cards in play, the field spell and Crescendo, because they're both so powerful and allow the deck to do a whole lot of things. Now moving on to the extra deck, we'll start with the fusions. First, we have 1 El Shaddoll Winda and 1 Thousand Eyes Restrict. Of course, might as well play an additional instant fusion target if we're going to play 3 instant fusion in the main. Of course, Winda is a good first turn play to go into, because, like, for example, at a minimum, you go Galatea, use Galatea effect, and then summon Dingirsu on top. Or no, you want to instant fusion first, this under that zone that Galatea would point to, and then you want to overlay your Dingirsu on top of your Galatea, so your Dingirsu can protect the Winda for the next turn, and then have possible Simple Skeleton to play to revive like a Longirsu, to make your counter trap live. So then you have like a Longirsu, a counter trap, a Dingirsu, and a Winda, and that's a pretty solid field if you ask me. So yeah, Winda and Thousand Eyes for sure. 1 Savage Dragon because we're playing the tuner monster, so we might as well take advantage of this. Kind of reminds me of pre-Dingirsu Orcust, pre-Bardich Orcust, playing all those cool cards. 1 Dingirsu. This you could play 2 of. A lot of people will question, like, why am I only playing 1? It's because I only have 1. So if you want to play 2 of these, play 2. I've personally, of all my time of playing 1 Dingirsu, have never missed the second one. I don't know if that's just because I'm bad or if I've gotten lucky, but I've just only ever needed 1, and I don't feel like spending another $30 to get a second one. So feel free to play 2 if you want. I would recommend 2. 1 Boral Sword now for the links. 1 Topological Bomber Dragon, or Topologic Bomber Dragon. I always say Topological. Topologic Bomber Dragon, this is a mainstay now for your turn 1 plays, basically replacing your Bardich. 1 Longirsu. I was thinking about playing a second one of these and also adding an Orcustrion, but I just couldn't find the space. Then we have 3 copies of Galatea. is still the most important link to in the extra deck, I would say. Then the Nightmare package consisting of 1 Mermaid, 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, and 1 Unicorn. And last but not least, 1 Sky Striker Ace Kagari, of course, for those pivotal Sky Striker plays with Hornet Drones, because Hornet Drones is a 1-card, Nightmare or Orcust combo, essentially. So definitely want to play those. So that's it for this video. Bit of a shorter deck profile than usual, but not really much to discuss. Played this on stream last night for like a match or two. Played pretty well. Like, I didn't need to do much testing with this because it's just kind of like reminds me of Orcust before we had Bardiche and Dingirsu. A more simple play style that would just end on Bomber Dragon Pass, which sometimes would be enough. Like I said, the only thing I would change in the extra deck would be probably adding a second Dingirsu and maybe adding Trisbania back in. But I've never really truly liked Trisbania in here just because that it can banish your field spell, which really sucks. So yeah, that's it for this deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like if you did. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Check out Imperium Duelist for some of these dice, their new sleeves. Again, here's the box with the nice artwork on it for their new sleeves. Highly recommend you guys check those out. I think there's a buy 2 get 1 on the effect and non-effect. And yeah, all new formula for their sleeves. And yeah, as always, when to kill, send it out. We'll see you guys in the next one.